Okay, to get a project like this done, we have to use the materials given to us. We should start at Learn, go to the checkpoint, and start reading from the top. We'll start with how to use the style guide. It gives us a link which we need to click. We need to click it. And this is the style guide. So you don't have to write the HTML and all that stuff and the styling. We're going to use that. Then it gives you instructions on how to create the app with Create React App, which you should already have. Create React App. If you don't, npm sudo npm install global create React app. And then it wants you to create React app with a GitHub repo called React Inbox. So let's do that. The command for installing Create React app would workspace installing Create React app. You'd go sudo npm ig create React app. I already have it installed. I don't need to do it. So let's change to our React. React. I have a folder for this. So let's create React app. Create React app, and it's command globally. And we want React Inbox. Wait a second, actually. Let's check. Do we have React Inbox? We do not. Create React app, React Inbox. Yarn is not something you need, I think. If you don't have Yarn, I think you can just do npm. So we'll do npm. So the command for Yarn would be yarn add bootstrap at version 3, right? We can do that, or I think we can actually do npm install bootstrap at 3. And it's the same exact thing. Let's check. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. I'm going to open my React Inbox. I have to check the package.json. Bootstrap at version 3. Okay. All right, and then let's go back. And we can see yarn add font awesome. So it could be npm I font awesome, or we can do yarn add font awesome. It doesn't spam the screen as much. We're getting that from here. We need to do this. So then we need to go to source index.js and add these above the index CSS. So let's close our package.js. Actually, yep, we got it installed. So we need to go to source. What is it? App.js, right? Index.js. So above the index CSS, boom. We don't care about this stuff. We don't need to mess with it. Okay. All right. From the style guide, copy the CSS tab into index.css. So style guide, CSS, and then we copy all this, and we go back, and let's go to app.css, delete this stuff, and paste this in. There, we're done. And let's go to the app.js, and the logo we won't need, and this stuff we won't need. Save. So let's run this, make sure we aren't getting any warnings that are going to be annoying. Integrated terminal. We can just yarn start it. Yep. And it opens up. Okay. No annoying warnings. Congratulations. Okay, let's move on. Now it wants you to make an app component. We already have that. A messages or message list component, a message component, and a toolbar component. So let's do that. Components, and then we'll add a new file, message list.js, and we'll add a new file, message, and the toolbar. Okay, stories. This is what it's supposed to look like. So we're supposed to follow the stories until we get finished with the stories, and only the stories. Because that's what it says. Well, that's what's asked of us according to the stories. All right? So message display. Users should see a list of messages with correct styles. So that's not an action. It's just output. So it wants us to basically display the thing first, the right way. So let's do that. So message list. It doesn't, I don't think it needs to be a class component. I think it can be functional either way. But the way I did it the first time was class. I think you can just pass props to it. I don't think it matters. Anyways, let's do it. So this is message list. And we will import message from here later on. And this is message. This is just a functional component. So we'll just pass props to it. And then we need to build our toolbar. Which is, I don't know. I'm not quite sure if these are stateful or not. I don't think it matters at this point because we don't use state inside of them. So these can be functional, I think. And we'll find out. I'll try it later, but we won't yet. So toolbar, message list. So let's import a message from, since message list is inside the components folder, we just do message. Okay, and we'll just do inside of a div just because. We'll have that, and we'll need to build a message list from message, right? So in message, let's go to the style guide and inbox style guide, and I think we missed a step because we need our seeds. Oh well, we'll do that in a bit. It doesn't tell you to do that. Okay, so here, let's make the message message unread. Is there anything special about it? Actually, message with labels. Let's get that one because it has the most on it. And we'll copy that. Put it into message itself. They are wrapped. And let's take all this, format it, right? Got to select the classes because it's not class, it's class name in JSX. And then, so we're going to pass props from message. Oh, I'll explain that later. So let's just display the message. So message is just one message at this point, right? We can do this, I think. And let's do the toolbar. With the compose button. Why not? We don't need it. We're not going to use it. It's not part of the stories. Actually, since it's not part of the stories, let's not use the compose button. Okay. There we go. Format it. And class name. And we have to fix this. Check anything down here. No. Save it. We got message, which is going to just give us this in here. It's going to pass this row message, all these things, and here's a message, blah, 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 as message to this here, and only display one of these because we haven't really done anything with it. We haven't iterated it yet through any seeds. We don't even have seeds, so we're going to have to do that. So let's import the toolbar. Okay. And message list, right? So we have to build one. And then put it up here as toolbar first, because it's the first one. And then message list. That. Okay. Let's check it. This is exactly what we wanted to see. That's annoying. Let's get rid of that. It's toolbar. Let's go to message. href. So that's annoying. Let's not fix it. That's what we got. All right. How do we do this? Filter. No more warnings. Thank you. Whew, baby. All right. So refresh. We have a clean environment. No stupid warnings that we don't need to worry about. Let's close that. Great. We got it displaying right. So let's go back to the style guide, get the seeds, and there we go. Copy the seeds, go back here, Visual Studio Code, app.js, and we need the seeds inside of the class because it's part of the state. Because you need to have the state inside of the class. You can't have it out here. So we need to add state to it, right? And it's a class property. So you do equals and then an object. So let's give it the name messages because that's our seeds. And then we'll just make it the array. So it's now an array. So state this dot state dot messages is the array of messages. This points to class app, extends the component, whatever. It gets component from app. It gets state from this, which has messages inside of it, so we can use it. Okay, and then we pass information down messages. Whoops. Let's actually do that. Messages equals this dot state dot messages, because that would be this, which is class app extends component. We're building app from nothing. We're building app like it came from nowhere. We're just building it like we magically formed it into something from nothing. But we gave it component from React. And we're giving it state, and state has messages, which is an array of objects of messages. If that makes any sense to anybody at all. And then we're passing the data in state down to the components with props. So this will become a prop in message list. Messages will be a prop that contains this.state.messages, which is an array of messages in message list. It gets passed down. Information gets passed down. So then we go to message list, and Message list is, we just create it from nowhere. It extends component, which is React component, which has app in it, which has state. So I don't even think we need it. We don't need state. Not in this one. So let's just log this dot props, right? Messages. I don't even think this needs to be a component that has a class. But I'll leave it this way because I built it this way the first time and know it works. I'll test it after we're done, refactor it into a functional component, see if it works. Okay, so this dot props has messages in it, right? We did dot messages. We get nothing. Messages. Let's do messages. We get the array. Great. So since we only get one message, that's the just default whatever message. When we do this, we got to build something out of it. So let's build something. Let message list equal this dot props dot messages, and we can do dot map, and let's do message, right? Index, so we need that too. Arrow function into JSX, because we're going to make it nice and pretty. And we take this message, put it here. Now we build an array of messages out of the information that was passed down from app, right? We passed this data down to message list. We got the data here through props because it extends app. And we added we just get props from it magically. Let's just make it so like that. All right, we can change that later. So we build our array of message components using the data from app. So it would be what? Message. We have to send message, right? Actually, key. Otherwise, we get an annoying warning. And then message equals, and then we'll do message list here, because React can just render an array. So now we go down to message, and our props are message. And it's going to do it 8 times, right? So 8 times, we have 8 messages. It renders 8 messages. Not with any data that's relevant, though, to the message. So we need to do that first because that's what it said to do first in learn. To get to this point right here, we had to do all of that. Okay. So message dot, so saying message read, that's a problem, right? Because it's just default, like that's how it is. So let's actually refactor this. We need to add that. We need to add backticks. We don't need to add backticks, but it's easier to just make a string literal. And then we can select both of these at the same time, delete them. I've seen John do this. And then we'll just do a value, right? And why do we need the value? It's because we can get it from props. Props dot message, right? Dot what is it? Read. But that's going to equal true or false, because if we look over here, read is true or false. So that doesn't quite work, right? So we fix that by going message.read. If it's true, we output it's read, right? If it's not read, it's unread, right? There we go. So we can do some deconstruction on props and make it message and all we need to do is message. Easy. See if it works. Done. Okay. So let's finish the first story. So how about the checkbox? Actually, let's format this. Formatting is super important to me. So we'll just make it look nice. It's easy to read. Okay. How about the checkbox? Yeah, the checkbox. Input type, right? So we've got to do checked, right? Equals output message dot selected, right? Because if we go back here to app, we find selected is true on some of them and selected doesn't even exist on others. So if it's true, it's true. If it's false, it's falsy. Doesn't render. Works. Failed prop type. You provided a checked. It says on change. So it's annoying us. Well, it's telling us that we haven't made a way to change if it's checked or unchecked, which by the story we don't do that yet, so don't worry about the warning. All right, and this star thing right here. So we can use the style guide or use my memory or the other screen I'm looking at. And this star, right? What was it before? Star. Whoops. It was FA star. So let's just do the same thing. This, and then we'll select both of those. And right here, we will create output. Message.starred, that evaluates to true or false, right? So starred, true or false. Okay, cool. So if it is true, then nothing. I believe if it's false, we need to add an O to it. Here we go. The star is in the wrong place. FA star. So star is a filled with white star. O is an outline, I guess. That's what they mean. So let's try. Okay, it worked. So let's make this look pretty. It's better if you do it to all of them, unless, actually depends. For me, it's easier to read like this until you get to the spans. And just ignore the spans. And the href, doesn't matter. Okay. All separate. Okay. So we have the star, checkbox, red, the labels. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So the best place, or maybe the only place, I don't know, to build the labels, well, labels comes down as an array from message, right? Because if we look in app.js, labels is an array. We can't really use it that well. See, dev personal labels, it's an array. We gotta deal with that array. So let's deal with that array. Let's do let label list equal message dot labels. And what do we do with these? With lists that we need to display, we map them. Map. And let's make it look pretty. We do label index, and we'll do return JSX, and let's copy a label, delete this label, go up here, paste it, dev, we don't need that. And add the label. Here we go. Add the label list. Right? Let's check. There we go. Ignore the warnings. So let's check. Okay, we got the red status, right? Do we? Oops, my bad. We don't, because these need to be highlighted. We're missing that. Okay. We're missing the checkbox selected highlight. And that goes up here. And let's make another evaluation, right? Message dot selected, true or false. If it's true, selected. If it's false, nothing. Yellow. Okay. So we have the first part of the story is done, right? That's displaying everything. Starring, like this stuff, that's actions, and I'll do that next video.